What's up guys, welcome back. So with the Nintendo Switch now finally announced, I wanted to talk about some games that I would like to see announced and released on the system. And for this one I'm going to start with third party games. This isn't the full list, and as time goes on there's probably going to be more that I add to it, but this is just my initial list of games that I would like to see announced and ported to the Nintendo Switch, or enhanced if there's already a Nintendo Switch version. So the first one is Black Myth Wukong. Currently I'm playing this on my PS5 Pro. I've not finished it yet, I think I'm on chapter 4 or 5, I'm not fully sure. But it is a game that I feel that more people should play. It is an absolutely fantastic game. Right now it's only available on the PlayStation 5 and PC. There's been rumblings about an Xbox version where the Xbox Series S is holding it back. But if possible, I would love to see a Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game. I'm really enjoying it. The combat is really good. The story so far is really good, especially with the little in-between cutscenes that you get before and after every chapter. And I'm really enjoying it. Playing as Son Wukong is actually really good, all of his different abilities. Just being able to play a game that focuses mainly on being fun is fantastic, and I feel that more people should be able to play this game no matter what system they're playing on. Next is Borderlands 4. Now we have Borderlands 1, 2, 3 and the pre-sequel on the Nintendo Switch. Fantastic games. Borderlands 2 is still my favourite of the series, and Borderlands 4 has been announced, it's just not been announced for the Nintendo Switch 2. I would really love it for that game to come to the Nintendo Switch 2 the same day it comes to the PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X with full crossplay, because if it has really good motion controls, I would definitely play it on a Nintendo Switch over any other system. Even if it has to look a little bit worse, that's where I would play it instead of playing it on the PS5 or the Xbox. I know the PS5 does have motion controls, but I don't feel they're as accurate as the as the Nintendo Switch version of the motion controls. So that's my reason for wanting it there. Next would be Cyberpunk 2077, and this one is a hard one to sell actually, because even the Xbox Series X and the PS5 still struggle at parts, and that's probably not going to be good for the Nintendo Switch 2 unless it's limited to 30 frames per second. Then it might get away with it and turn off ray tracing, because I'm not sure that's going to be as good on the Nintendo Switch 2. But the game is absolutely fantastic. There's several different storylines, several different endings, and I've only seen 2 of the endings so far. I think there's 7 or 8 more with the DLC that just came out. Well, not just came out, but came out previously. But it's absolutely fantastic, just sandbox game. That's how I treat it anyway, as a sandbox. And I absolutely love it. More people should play it, especially if they like good melee combat, because I feel like the different melee weapons in the game make it really good, especially the arm blades. Can't remember the actual name of them. That was my main weapon at one point through the game. So another game that I feel that people should be able to play on a Nintendo Switch 2. Next, and this one is very likely, is Doom: The Dark Ages, because Microsoft has been a really good partner for the Nintendo Switch, and I don't see any reason for it not to come to the Nintendo Switch 2. We had Doom, the reboot, and then Doom Eternal, which was just really good on the system. Sure, it didn't look as good and it didn't run as good, but they were still really good games on the Nintendo Switch. I never finished the DLC for Doom Eternal on Nintendo Switch because I just couldn't get around to it. I did finish it on my Xbox though, so but this is one of the ones that I think is definitely going to be announced, maybe even in the Direct, which is on April 2nd. We'll find out soon. Next, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. A lot of people expected this to release on the Nintendo Switch 1, and I'm not sure it will. I play it on my PlayStation 5. Haven't played it in a while. There is DLC coming out for it next week, 5 days from now, from when I'm recording this. And I think it would be a really good game to have on the Nintendo Switch too. We've already got a few other Dragon Ball games like Dragon Ball Kakarot, Xenoverse 2, and Fighters, or Fighter Z. I think that's all actually. But they run quite well. Kakarot is limited to 30. Fighters hits 60. I haven't played it in a while, so I don't know if it's been updated to be smoother. And Xenoverse 2 can fluctuate between 30 and 60 depending on what mode you're playing basically. If you're doing a 1 versus 1 fight online, it's 60. If it's more than that, it's 30. And that's how they got around everything. But Dragon Ball Sparking Zero would be a fantastic game on a Nintendo Switch too. That being said, an enhanced version of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot would also be fantastic. When that originally released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, the PS4 and the Xbox One versions ran at 30 frames per second. I originally played it on my PlayStation 4, and now I own it on my PlayStation 4, Xbox, upgraded to PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X versions, have it on my PC, and I have it on my Nintendo Switch. So it's a game I really like. And the PC version has always been 60 frames per second, always looked fantastic. For some reason, 60 frames per second is the upper limit for what you can play the game at. And I think bringing an enhanced version of the Nintendo Switch version to the Nintendo Switch 2, a little bit better graphics, put the frame rate up to 60, would be brilliant, especially since they're doing a lot more DLC for it. Another game would be Dragon's Dogma 2. I played this originally on my PlayStation 5, didn't finish it, on the PlayStation 5 at least, because the performance wasn't really that great. Even with VRR turned on, it never really kicked in a lot on the PlayStation 5 because the VRR range of that is 48 and up, whereas on the Xbox Series X you can set the VRR range from 30 frames per second and up. So it was just a choice of going on to my Xbox Series X, downloading it and playing it there, because I had a much better experience playing that with VRR turned on. And now there's been an update for the PlayStation 5. I need to try it again and see, well, PlayStation 5 Pro, and see if it works out better, and I might finish it again. And then we move on to Elden Ring, and this is a game that I absolutely love. I've bought it twice, Xbox and PlayStation, and I've played through it several times. I've got the Platinum trophy on the PlayStation 5, and I've got all the achievements on the Xbox version. So yeah, I would buy this again on this Nintendo Switch 2 if it does come out on it. I would run through it again, I would do absolutely everything. If the Nintendo Switch 2 has an achievement system, I would get all the achievements once again. That's how good Elden Ring is. It is just an absolutely fantastic game, and more people should play that too. And along with Elden Ring, obviously bringing Elden Ring Night Rain to the system, which is not out yet. There is going to be a beta for it, a network test for it next month. Hopefully I get picked for that, and then we'll see what happens. Moving back to Microsoft, anything from the Fallout series, basically. Not anything, but 3, New Vegas, 4. I'd even settle for Fallout 76. Fallout game on the go for Nintendo fans at least, because I have a Steam Deck as well. I can play Fallout 3 and upwards on that. But for Nintendo fans who haven't played the Fallout series yet, bringing 3 New Vegas or 4 or 76 to the Nintendo Switch 2 would just be amazing. And this New Vegas is one of the best games ever made, so bringing that to another audience, just more money, just do it. Next, and this one has been rumoured since 2023, maybe earlier, I'm not sure, but Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. I am a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, just in general for Final Fantasy, and I've got the Platinum trophies for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, with about a good 1,000 hours between the two of them. And if this was to come to the Nintendo Switch 2, which I believe it will, because of statements made by Square Enix, they want to, well, they are getting rid of their entire exclusivity nonsense, and they want to get their games on more platforms because they've been suffering financially recently. And this game, Remake especially, I think Remake is better than Rebirth. It's just an absolutely fantastic game. Everyone should play that game. If you've never experienced the original Final Fantasy VII, you should play that too, because absolutely amazing. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think, is going to be a launch game for the system. Maybe not day one, but a few months after the Nintendo Switch 2 releases, I think we're going to see Final Fantasy VII Remake on it, and then next year we'll see Rebirth release on it too. And to go from Remake and Rebirth, we'll go to a Final Fantasy game that I'm not so fond of, but I think more people should have the opportunity to play it, and that is Final Fantasy XVI. Not going to talk a lot about this game because I'm not a fan of it. I did finish it. I didn't finish the DLC. I have the DLC. I just can't be bothered playing it. The party system was destroyed. You play as someone named Clive, which doesn't really scream Final Fantasy to me. The areas are kind of not open enough. It's very linear, and I'm really not selling this game right now, am I? But Final Fantasy XVI, it has its okay moments. It has more moments, but more people should have the opportunity to play it. And if they want to play it on the Nintendo Switch 2 or the Xbox, I believe they should be able to. Next up is Granblue Fantasy Relink. I absolutely loved this game playing through it on a PlayStation 5. The combat is really good. All the different characters you get to play as are very unique, and it's just a very, very pretty game with its anime aesthetic. And a lot of people haven't played it because it's exclusive to, well, it's not exclusive to the PlayStation 5. It's on the PlayStation 5 and PC. Bringing it to more people, obviously a good thing for the devs and the publisher, but also good for basically fans of good RPG games, because it's really, really good, and I think more people should play it. I've said that for a lot of these games actually. This one is another long shot, kind of like Cyberpunk, but Grand Theft Auto 5 or 6. If we get both, fantastic. I'm more leaning to seeing Take-Two and Rockstar porting Grand Theft Auto 5 to the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm still confused about why the Grand Theft Auto 5 wasn't on the original Nintendo Switch, because it could have ran like the PS4 or like a mix between the PS3 and the PS4 version of the game. But I would like to see Grand Theft Auto return to Nintendo systems, and not just through the Grand Theft Auto 3 trilogy, which I haven't played in a while because it was terrible, but hopefully there's a return to it that way. This next one is rumoured already, which is Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. can't really say too much about it because I've only played the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, whatever you want to call it, and it's a really good game. The ladder section, not so much, but if it's possible, bring that to the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. Next up is Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Shadow of War is one of my comfort games that if I have literally nothing else to play, I will load up Shadow of War and just run about killing orcs for a little while. Or if I really want to, I'll just restart the game entirely. I have a separate profile on my PlayStation 5, my Xbox, and my PC, just for doing that. I play it on my PC if I want to play 60 frames per second, and I play it on one of the consoles if I don't really care about that. It's a really good game. It's the combat reminds me of Batman, and yeah, it's a really good game where you follow Talion. I know it's been out for a while, but I don't want to spoil it because it's a game that I feel everyone should experience for the first time going in blind. That's how good that's how good I think this game is. And this one might happen, might not. It's a 50-50. And that's Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, I have been playing the Monster Hunter game since the original on the PS2, where it had really janky controls, and upwards all the way through to Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak. Now, I don't really like Monster Hunter World. I have been playing it again though on my PC just to get ready for Monster Hunter Wilds, because I have a feeling the two of them are going to be similar in some way. World, I'm not going to complain about it here, I'm going to do that in another video, but Wilds, from the open beta that I played, is really good. It seems to have fixed a lot of the issues that I had with Monster Hunter World, so hopefully Monster Hunter Wilds comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. I am going to be playing it on my PS5 Pro, so if it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, I'm probably going to restart it entirely and just play it on that system going forward. Next up is a game that was already released on the Nintendo Switch, but was then shut down. The game is still available on the PS5, the Xbox, and the PC. It's no longer available on the Nintendo Switch 1 though. That is Paladins. Yes, it's just another hero shooter, but it's a game that I really enjoyed playing on the Nintendo Switch. I can play it on my PC, my Xbox, or my PlayStation 5, but I really liked the motion controls for it, and I feel it was the best implementation of motion controls from a third-party publisher, third-party dev. The only thing that beats it is Nintendo's implementation, and they're so close that there's really not much between how good they are between Paladins and how Nintendo does it. Hopefully Paladins comes back out on the Nintendo Switch 2 if it survives that long, because it's going downhill quite fast recently apparently. Next up, Red Dead Redemption 2. We have the first one on the Nintendo Switch already. It's a really good game. Absolutely loved it. Undead Nightmare is just the best way to play that game, I feel. Red Dead Redemption 2, I have finished it a few times. Really love the story, the gameplay is fantastic, and it's just a really pretty game as well. And that's a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One game, so I have a feeling it definitely could run on the Nintendo Switch 2. Next up, the Resident Evil remakes 2, 3 and 4. Maybe 7 and 8 as well. Those aren't technically remakes, but let's just say the Resident Evil games. Now, yes, we have these on the Nintendo Switch already, but they're cloud versions, at least most of them on the Nintendo Switch through cloud versions. I'm talking about native versions that just download directly into the system, and I don't need to stream them to the system. Resident Evil 2, fantastic. Resident Evil 3, And Resident Evil 4 is one of my favourite games now. It's a game that I will go back to and play, much like Middle-earth Shadow of War, just for the hell of it. And there's not many games I can say that about other than Nintendo games themselves. So these games on a Nintendo Switch 2 would be amazing. Next is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Survivor, Jedi Survivor? Yeah, Jedi Survivor. Again, great games. If you love the Star Wars franchise, then these are definitely games you should pick up. Absolutely fantastic. Sort of Souls-like, but a little bit more forgiving. Definitely games people should pick up. Next is Visions of Mana. Fantastic RPG. It's good to see the Mana series come back. Hopefully, if it does come out in the Nintendo Switch 2, it'll find a proper audience, because it didn't sell very well on the other two consoles and the PC. Hopefully, it gets ported to the Nintendo Switch 2. It finds a good proper audience and it sells well, because I want the Mana series to continue, and I don't see it happening right now if it doesn't come to the Nintendo Switch 2 and sell well on that system. Next is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. This is just a video game ass video game. Just throws you at a horde of monsters, and the gameplay killing them is just absolutely fantastic. Going from melee to gunplay and then back to melee again. It is just a really, really good game that focuses on being fun. It has a nice story too, but the main focus of the game was just to be as fun as possible, I feel. And I think more people should play that too. It's already been selling really well apparently, but a Nintendo Switch 2 version, there's a lot more people there. There's about 150 million Nintendo Switch gamers. If they all make the jump, there's a good portion of them that would play Space Marine 2 on their Nintendo Switch 2 as well. And finally, Wild Hearts. This is a Monster Hunter style game from EA, I'm sure. I haven't finished it yet. I just go about hunting random things in it, but it's a really good game. It's a really competent Monster Hunter. I don't want to say clone, but that kind of feels like the right word for it. It's just one of those games where you can lose a lot of time with. Just like Monster Hunter is a game that you can lose a lot of time with. It looks very nice. It runs okay-ish. I don't know what else to say about it other than if you like Monster Hunter, you're going to like this game. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. This is just part one. Obviously, there's going to be more games that I add to this. I'll probably do another video on that when that list gets long enough, because I don't want to do a lot of different videos like I did when the Nintendo Switch 1 was about to release, or the Nintendo NX, as it was called when I was doing those videos. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day. Let me know any games you would like to see in the comment section below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye now.